yours.
Oh, yeah, because I got some stuff on this game.
From the basketball court at the University of Virginia to the classroom at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Deborah Stroman has it all covered. Now this professor and sports business entrepreneur is about to take you to school. It's time for Dishing It Up with Dr. Stroman and the Sports Shop on Buzz Sports Radio.
Let's go, Big Purple. What you got, Dr. Stroman?
Good morning.
You just had to go there.
I didn't even know. I was about to go in.
I know she was like, okay.
Oh, my gosh. This is always tough for me because I'm from outside of Philadelphia, so always fly, Eagles fly, but yet my heart is always with my Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had not lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this would not even be a point. But, to go 0-2 at the beginning of the season when last year you were tearing it up and looked to be a Super Bowl squad, this is not a good thing. It's going to be very, very challenging. Now, the thing about Kirk Cousins is sometimes he looks like all pro, sometimes he looks like all high school.
Right.
You just don't know what you're going to get. But, the Eagles defense is outstanding, so I think it's going to be a 0-2 start for my Vikings.
Now, Dr. Stroman, they say, Kirk Cousins he's not a primetime type of quarterback. So
Depends on the day, though.
He's like 12-20 when he plays in primetime.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, I've been watching that really good documentary on last season featuring three quarterbacks, and Kirk Cousins defends himself and says, "Look, I received so many game balls for prime time, but we all know what the deal is. He is an analytics quarterback. He works. He tries to be one of the hardest working quarterbacks in the league. That's why he has the longevity that he has. But your top receivers, which the Vikings have had some of the best. Hello, Stephon Diggs." It's just they can't seem to get over the hump. And when you're the quarterback, it stops with you.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what? I did see him on the documentary, and he's just as quirky as he's always been. And just like when he was in Washington. And the fact that, I don't know if you saw Dr. Stroman episode where, his wife was picking out his press conference clothes.
Yeah.
Literally, he's got he had this flannel shirt. Mm-hmm. He liked it, so he just wanted 3 or 4 of them, and he just wears basic Lands End type stuff. I mean, he's Kirk Cousins. I mean, he don't care. I mean,
he's humble.
No, he's just Kirk Cousins. He's different. He's a different kind of guy.
He's a safe pick. He's what we would call bland.
True.
And and the Vikings, that's not the franchise. I mean, they want rings. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what's going to happen. Again, he's a solid quarterback, but the Vikings want more than just being, a playoff contender. We have to win games. But with that being said, speaking about quarterbacks, I was thinking about the mauling of the Cowboys against the Giants and how the star linebacker basically said that the Giants coach should have taken Daniel Jones out of the game.
Right.
He played up until the last drive. And he basically said that he's the star of the team. And if they would have lost him, that would have been devastating for the franchise, which made me pivot to the news around the NBA. Load management. So this is a big story. There's no doubt the fans have been grumbling, and rightfully so. People are spending, a month, 2 months pay, life savings to go to a game, and then the stars are out. So the big news is around the new rules that have affected load management, which means there's going to need some more. You're going to need some more analytics to figure out who's scheduling and who's going to play. But I'll start off by saying that the first rule is no more than one star player is unavailable for the same game. So when you have teams that are competing for championships, there's usually 2 or 3 stars on the team. So that's going to take some work. Teams must ensure that star players are available for national TV and in-season tournament games. So now we've got this sense of ranking as in, well, this game is more important than the next, so you're going to have to play this one. Teams must maintain a balance between the number of one-game absences for a star player in home games and road games, with a preference for those absences to happen in home games. So this is the analytics piece. You've got to have somebody on your bench or somebody in the front office calculating all of this.
Right.
And then lastly, well, this is the last one I'll start with. Teams must refrain from any long-term shutdown or near shutdown when a star player stops participating in games or plays in a materially reduced role in circumstances affecting the integrity of the game. I'm reminded of Golden State last year, coach apologizing for, I think it was Steph was out, Clay was out, Draymond Green was out, and it was a game in November. And then he said it was because of the science, thinking about the load on the body and all those calculations. So it's an art, it's a science, and the NBA is trying to do something about it.
So, Dr. Stroman, the question I have just listening to that, and it just seems odd to me, and I'm always on the side of the player, but this one seems odd to me, right? If you are a mega star and you're selling your concert tickets, and I want people to buy my concert tickets because that's how I make a living, right? But you don't know which one of the concerts I'm going to have a stand in. And people are supposed to be okay with that. I mean, I don't understand why do people and I get it. So it's the same thing. Well, my vocal cords can't really take me singing that many shows. So I have to really protect myself. What the hell it got to do with me?
Right, I'm paying to hear you sing.
Right, exactly. Why is that fair to me? So I'm just trying to figure out why is it that the CBA has not stressed to the players, okay, this is a problem. Now, I think this is probably CBA pushing back on the league saying, and I, quite honestly, well, you wanted all these games, and we're just telling you it is physically detrimental to the players to play this many games.
Right. It's 82 games.
Right. So this is their get back, if you would, to them adding games or adding whatever.
Well, that brings up the scheduling. 82 game schedule.
Yeah.
That's a lot on the body. Some people say they need to shorten it, but of course the NBA and the owners wanting to make money, they want more games. They added the in tournament, event.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about the wear and tear on the body, the calculations that need to be made, but also you're considering, since the contracts are so big now, that players want to maximize making that money.
Yeah.
So they don't want to play as much because they're making so much money.
Right.
You want to get the goods while they're available, right? So it's definitely a conflict. I'm sure, the CBA has wrestled with this. Players have wrestled with this in terms of what is the best way to do this. But, you think about the fan, though, who's hoping to see their favorite player, and then this happens. So.
Right. And I know they were saying that it's about, you're letting down the fans, but you're also letting down the partners. Now, we know what the partners is about. That's the advertisers.
Yeah.
So it's about money. But one of the things that I heard someone talking about, they were having a conversation was, is this too much? Is this infringing on how the team operates?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that point. I think So, Dr. Stroman, you always talk about the difference between the fan, the fanatic, and so is the fan coming to see an individual, or is the fan coming to see his team or her team?
I think in football, you're coming to see the team because the marketing with the NFL is all about the shield, the team.
Right.
And, of course, it helps that they have helmets on, so you really can't get to see their facial expressions and all of this. And, of course, it's the no-fun league. So, they really done, I think, a poor job of not allowing the players to be more expressive.
Right.
You can kind of get their personalities. Some of the receivers, they're going to do their thing anyway. They're a bit more lenient. But in the NBA, everything is exposed. They do everything to broadcast, to promote the individual. You needed a Magic and a Bird. You needed a Jordan. You needed a Kobe, right? You needed a LeBron James. So they push the individual. And so people gravitate to their favorite players, regardless of what team. I mean, one of the most devastating things for me was Dennis Johnson was one of my all-time favorite players. And then he gets traded to the Celtics. So it's like, I'm from Philly. We don't do Boston. Nothing New England. And there he is. So you have those mixed emotions. But I think that's by design with the NBA.
Yeah.
Interesting.
All right. I don't know.
But it is. Go ahead.
I just feel like they're headed toward this. This, and I don't see. I mean, I see where they're kind of starting to kind of compromise here and there, but I think they're headed toward this point of contention to where they're going to alienate the fan to where you don't know what you're buying, right?
Mm.
So if I buy, like you said, a ticket here and there, or if my favorite team or individuals coming to my city, I don't know what I'm purchasing, right? Is that really going to hurt fan sales? I mean, ticket sales? I don't think it will, to the extent where it would make a difference to them. But what I think it would hurt is where people become less enamored with the NBA as a whole because they don't really feel like they know what they're going to receive.
Right.
So just watch it on TV whenever you can.
Well, that's a good point. So let me mention the other rule is that teams must ensure that healthy players resting for a game are present and visible to fans. So maybe the next evolution of this is to your player didn't play, but now they're going to sit, first come, first serve and sign autographs or pictures.
Nice. Okay.
So he didn't play, but you got a chance to interact with him. And probably some people would be more happy with that to take a picture with their star. And even though he didn't play. So maybe that's something that they can be creative around and figure out a way to still have the fans feel good about being in the arena.
So they do have to travel with the team. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming they probably warm up, dress. I'm assuming, but then they don't actually play,
right?
And they just be in street clothes, I guess, on the bench or whatever.
Yeah, like college sports where they have the players come out afterwards and sit at the table and get in line. Maybe there's something that they can do to engage the fans so they feel like they didn't miss out completely. I didn't get a chance to see, my star play, but I did get a chance to take a picture with him and he signed my autograph. People will walk away with a bit of a smile and maybe
absolutely.
Now, honestly, now you may be on to something there, Dr. Stroman. So that kind of make it a lot better. Because it's a lot different buying a ticket for $600 and the guy didn't even fly to your city than buying a ticket for $600. You got to see him warm up. You got to see him, real time, and then, you got to see him on the bench. And you possibly get a chance to either take a picture, get an autograph. That's a much different experience.
Right,
That's a much different experience.
Well, sadly, I have the sense that if they do something like this, it'll be, and it's only for $20. They might tack on more money.
Right. It's definitely not going to be free.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. If this guy don't play, I want my ticket discounted by $20. How about that?
Exactly, yeah. But this is a new game. I hope it doesn't turn into more suits. I watch these games now, and again, I grew up in the era where you had a head coach, one assistant, maybe another assistant, one manager. Now you look at these games and there's probably 10 players and about 25 people with different forms of uniform, whether it's a dress suit, whether it's a nice sweat suit, whether it's a polo shirt. I mean, there's just so many people around this. I think it's almost like each player has two people assigned to him.
Right.
But it's just, I guess it's jobs, right? Opportunities for all.
There you go.
That's right.
In it that way.
I love it. All right, Dr. Stroman.
The other news, one
go
more.
ahead.
WNBA's on.
Playoffs, yes. Saw it last night.
Who you got winning it all, Dr. Stroman?
You have to look at the Aces. I would like to see Candace come back, but that's pretty doubtful. But I would not rule out Liberty because Liberty is confident with them. They are very, very confident. They feel they can win with them. But some people who've been nagging injuries and stuff, I think that might make the difference. But I love the front office of the Aces. I'm friends with Nikki, who's Fargus, who's the president of the Aces. But that New York squad, they've got some studs, so it's going to be competitive. Right now, these early games are not, so please don't turn off the TV, folks, when you see these blowouts.
I will say this, Dr. Stroman. I know we got to run, but I will say this. The few times I have kind of, cruised by the WNBA, I'm not going to say the women are mean, but they tough, boy. Look, Y'all, they're about that business nowadays. It ain't the same, It ain't the
I
same
know.
kind of lead. They're about that business nowadays. You better bring your lunch.
Exactly.
There's no doubt. Yes.
And Dr. Sharma, I'm sure we can talk about this at another time, but one thing that I loved about it, I always find a fun fact, is the top 5 seeds in this postseason. They have black executives in the front office. It's always great to see and hear.
really?
The WNBA is one of
Yes.
the leaders in terms of equity and inclusion. I think the numbers still can improve. And again, we always want the best person, but it's almost like if you're choosing a brown or black person, then that means that they're less than, which is completely wrong. We've got qualified, capable women, people of color, people who've been historically marginalized, so they need the opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right, Dr. Stroman.
Thank you.